Welcome, sisters and brothers in arms. We honor those who follow the old, nearly forgotten, code of honor. Our metal we wear proudly, like the scars we earn to keep our magnificent sovereignty. Our reverence to each other is only matched by our incorruptible allegiance to our morality and ideals. Warrior kings and queens sit blooded in thrones of shattered bones. Lives are but fragile drops of rain. We all fall down vehemently, yet we remain inevitable. For truth to victory, for honor infinitely, we uphold the code and embody it with a quality example. We are mighty. We are unwavering. We are inexorable.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. We have a couple of guests this evening. I've got my co-host Rick Bonilla, who apparently has turned into a chair, and now he's back. And then
he ran away right before the intro. No, go ahead.
And then we have our guest HexAllen this evening. How you doing, Hex? What's up?
Hey, how you doing, guys? All right.
Well, it's good to have, man. It's good to have you here. Thank you so much for agreeing to do the show.
Oh, my pleasure.
It's awesome, man. And I wanted to talk about this project. You were telling me about this launch that you have November 9th.
Yeah, that's right. Monday, November 9th. I'm working on a campaign, my very first campaign. It's called The Art of Shieldnet Sword. Oh, let me share the screen. You should probably.
Yeah, please do. Yeah, we can have a little bit of visual to go with it.
Yeah, that would help, huh?
Absolutely. Hey, look at that.
All right, so there you go. That's The Art of Shieldnet Sword, the mobile game. So what I got going on here is I'm creating a rock, paper, scissors mobile game, and I'm releasing it for free next year. But this campaign is related to the artwork that's from the game. So I've got 9 characters that are in the game, and what I'm doing is I'm making trading cards, poster prints, and bookmarks they're going to be like really nicely finely detailed and painted. And right now what you see are works in progress on the sign-up page.
Now, are those traditionally painted, or is that digital paint?
No, digital and Photoshop.
Oh, that's cool though, because the style looks like it mimics almost a traditional style.
Yeah, that's what I'm going for. And then, not that I'm saying that I'm as good as Frazetta here, but it's kind of the goal in that I'll be setting a scene, and you'll be able to see brush strokes, and
hey, there's nothing.
It'll look like it's traditional.
Absolutely nothing wrong with having idols and wanting to shoot for that style. He's a brilliant artist, so it's a very cool style. I like it, man.
Got to shoot for the moon, right?
Yeah, absolutely, you do. Yeah.
And also, if you sign up and you back the campaign, I'm throwing in an 18-page black and white preview of my comic, which is the real campaign launching next year. For my comic called Nephilim Squadron, a sci-fi war epic. So yeah, you'll get a taste of that.
Very cool, man. No, that's a great idea to add some other content to it. So if people want to buy a tier that has a comic book, they can get the Ashcan. It's a preview for another campaign that you have planned. That's very cool, man. Yeah,
I thought I'd just do some cross IP synergy, since I was already creating the game, and then when COVID hit, I kind of kicked it into high gear. With getting involved with Comicsgate, and actively on Twitter and trying to build a YouTube.
Yeah.
So
to try to reach out to people, because it's not Yeah, with the social distancing, I mean, a lot of entertainment and everything has gone online. So there's a lot of that going on, man. Yeah, reach out to people any way you can.
Yeah. And I'm getting older, so time is running out.
And what the fuck are we gonna do anyway? I mean, we're all locked inside anyway.
Yeah.
I spend a lot of time at my PC anyway. I'm a complete nerd, so COVID was just not really much of an adjustment to have to. I had to tell the kids to stay inside. That's pretty much it. Stay away from their friends. Do some social distancing with friends. We keep that to a minimum, and all of that good stuff. So it hasn't been fun for anybody, but for the comic work, we can work remotely. Go for it. I've had a bunch of friends tell me, "Oh, well, I don't think it's a good look to launch during COVID and to do this but it absolutely is, because people want entertainment. We've seen the decline of the comic book industry, and the entertainment industry is no different. And you need to reach out there and look. There's independent studios that are doing quality work. And so take a look, man, online. Search. Look at new things. Try new things. You know what I mean? There might be something else out there. Don't just take what you get. That's the biggest problem, is that I think people just decided to take what they got and assume that these mainstream houses are going to know exactly what kind of content you're going to want all the time, and then people are disappointed. And we need new creators. That's why they forgot that they're not going to be able to carry that forever. They need creators to fuel their companies. And with print on demand and with technology the way it is now, you can absolutely create your own video game if you learn just like you're doing. You know what I mean? When I was a kid, I actually wanted to get into graphic design. I went to school for CIS. But when I went, it was years ago. I'm 38 now, so I'm going to be turning 39 in a month. And so when I was a kid, I mean, Visual Basic and in CIS, it's not what it is. Computer programming has come a long way. Then you'd have to be a part of like a 400-man team just to make something very simple for the games that were out then. You know what I mean? So for me, that's what made me lose interest, is once I got into the class and realized that, when I started asking questions, I was like, this isn't for me. Because I wanted to get into a creative medium. You know what I mean? I wanted to use it to make like music videos, because I used to have jam bands in my 20s. And I wanted to make like CGI for music videos. And then I wanted to do my own video games. And so that was the plan. But I didn't have a 400-man team or a production company to do it. And I was like, yeah, that's not creative for me. I don't want to sit at a cubicle and make 1/400th of an app. You know what I mean? I don't want to make 1/400th of a project. That's not creative for me, writing code. And I have to have, I wanted to do a creative medium. So yeah, get out there and do it, just like HexAllen's doing. Do you have a team? Are you producing everything by yourself, or is it?
Oh yeah, it's just me. Just me for now.
Fantastic. How far along are you on the app game? When are you thinking of launching that?
In March, probably maybe I might push it to further into the spring, because of I started this campaign here. But originally, sometime in Q1 of 2021. Right now, it's in an alpha state. I've got the menu all hooked up, and some of the levels in there. I just need to. I have a lot of character animation to do, and and just like hooking up transitions and stuff like that. Once this campaign is done, it is a lot of work for one guy. But
even with the technology, what it is a lot of work for one guy still. So yeah.
But I like you say, I don't get out much anymore, and even before the thing, I didn't get out much before.
Yeah, exactly.
Before that at all. So
that's one thing I discovered during the pandemic. My life didn't change. So I was very disappointed that everybody was right. I am a hermit.
And I love it. Love being at my command center here.
Yeah, I know how you feel. Yeah, this is my place. I mean, lately, probably haven't had as much time, but for the most part, I like to be right here. I'm a gamer. I like to work on script or something. I like to be doing something but my workstation, and I sketch some too. My wife actually surprised me and got me this desk that has a side table here for drawing. And I'm still traditional. I just use a mechanical pencil and a pad, whatever. I was using that computer paper like I'm not a finished artist. I just like to sketch. It's a nice cool down in between my writing and stuff. Like when I'm inspired, my friends at Cornerstone inspire me. Rick inspires me. Everybody I work with inspires me. So if I have something going on in my head, I'll sketch it. Geez, what else do I got here? I got a bunch of stuff here. Papers up there. I got papers all over the place, but I got little sketches that I do. I actually started to lay out the page that Rick's working on now, but he started laying it out on his own, so I just chucked it to the side. But yeah, when he said he was getting ready to start, like I started playing around with pencils. So
do you have ideas for games too?
Well, absolutely. I mean, the work that we're working on would translate very well into a game, and we have a plan to make these titles into a game for Cornerstone Creative Studios Cornerverse Coalition. And so we've got 11 titles collectively between all of us. I own 2 of them. Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of books. There's like 50 plus books, scripts that are approved, looking for production money. And the last stream that we did, I talked about a deal that we had. When I was talking with Edwin, we lost. It was a $250,000 production deal they had on the table. We were talking with their staff writer, who was the co-founder of Boom Studios, and we had their director, David Baxter. I had his direct email, and we were talking, and we got a refusal. You watched the stream, though. I mean, I don't want to get on a downer again, because honestly, like, it pissed me off. I mean, I'd been working for 8 months, sharing content and talking with these guys and networking this, and ultimately we got pushed away by a ripoff of True Grit and it seems like a bunch of girls that want to like convention hop on company dime. It's unbelievable.
Man. Shameless.
Yeah, so yeah, it hurt big time.
The way I see it, it wasn't our turn yet. That's the way I see this. Yeah, because if you start worrying about every time you get shut down, man, it just. I worked when I had my studio. We used to go out to conventions, and you'd always get approached, especially when superhero movies started kicking in, and people started looking at comic books to make movies. We would get approached by, it was never like a main studio head, but it was always like the assistant, and they pick up the books, and this is great. They get our emails, and they start emailing, and everything you got is great. So, what do you got? We got this. Oh, this is awesome. This is awesome. This is awesome. And you're getting emails till you're not, and then nobody answers your emails. Nobody returns phone calls, and it happened several times. You get all pumped up, just so close that you could taste it, and then it fall apart.
Welcome to Hollywood, baby.
Oh yeah, we had one of the biggest deals that I remember is one of the stories that we worked with was with Atomic Mike, which was a monkey. It was a guy who got turned into a monkey, and in the storyline, he's trying to become human again. But at one point, we thought it'd be a great idea to have the multiverse mics running around. And so it caught the attention of a lot of people. It was a nightmare to draw into ink because, he had to come up with different versions of the same character, kind of like what they did with the Spider-Verse movie. Mm. So at the time, Nickelodeon got involved, and they started throwing out big names, and this actor wants to voice it, and this wants to do it. And then all of a sudden, you know what? Monkey movies don't sell. 3 months later, they released that movie about the monkeys going to the moon. Can't remember what the name of it was.
I remember you were telling, the one where there's the 3 apes that they send into space.
That movie.
Oh, that
literally taken of stuff that we proposed and sent them, and it's like, look at that. But the guy that was working with us got fired, and you hear all these stories, and unless you really want to keep up and pursue it, that was kind of like the last straw for me, where I was just like, yeah.
Well, you guys were published at Image too. You didn't even you told this story, but you didn't say Atomic Mike from Across the Pond. That was over at Image.
Yeah, but like I said, it's just Atomic Mike. I think we got Image. Some of them got published through Speakeasy. A lot of them were done independent. As a matter of fact, if you look up Atomic Mike, the books are still on sale in Amazon and a couple other places. Stefan Nielsen. He's the main owner of the characters. He's still doing it, but he, like myself, has that love-hate relationship,
Because Jack Kirby said that commies will break your heart, man.
Yeah,
he did say it.
last Christmas I was called in at this company, and I didn't know anything about the inner workings of the company. They just asked me to work on a book. Got it done right before Christmas, man, and the company went under. We turned in the pages, got paid, and they folded. Apparently, they've been talking to somebody who's feeding them the wrong numbers from like 10, 20 years ago, and the poor guys. I mean, I hate it for them, but it was just one more book in my notch, on my belt that will never be seen.
Yeah, it's frustrating, man. You know what it is though? It's not comics that'll break your heart. Jack Kirby wasn't specific. It's not because of comics. Comics are inherently good. What it is that it's people, human beings are dirty as fuck. So like,
no matter what industry.
That's right.
A lot of times, a lot of people start the project and they don't have enough money, or they haven't gauged how much money actually takes to put out a book, and they fall short. I've seen them die, after I've turned in pencils. I've seen them die after we get the inking done, the coloring done. The worst one that I remember is working with. This is years ago. We worked on a couple titles, and the guy. What is the name of oh my God, I'm drawing a blank. He does lettering now, and he had these books that he wanted to put out. He put together, I think it was like 12 or 15 books, and then Diamond would not carry them, and he had complete issues. And we were all doing them, with the expectation to get paid once the books were released. And of course, once we put them with, and Diamond doesn't take them, everything falls apart, because now you don't have any way to distribute them. And James from All Caps, he had the books, and he went out there. He gave it his best shot, man. He hit those conventions. He was out there pumping the books out, and Diamond just said, "No, we're not gonna carry them." And that was the end of that. And that was months and months of work. And that's one of the first times when I noticed that, that monopoly had to be broken down. That had to go away, because Diamond crushed a lot of dreams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A lot of dreams get crushed working in this medium. It's tough. It's tough. It's a collaborative medium.
Not only were you applying, say, like if Image wanted to publish you, or an Image, it's something that you pay to play. You do have to give them a percentage of your money, and it's business, right? But you still have to have Diamond carry your books. So if, say, like you're working for Image, and Image doesn't, put out an ad or something, or advertise for you, you're kind of dead in the water. And that's what happened to us. We had books out that they would not.
Yeah, you're like this obscure image. You're at Image, but I know what you're saying. Yeah, like if you're not being solicited with the other titles, then you're essentially this obscure title that's at Image, but people don't really respect it like they do the titles that are getting pushed. I know what you're saying.
Yeah, we weren't big names, so they just kind of let you.
It was tough to get that opportunity too and see that go, but you get, you just keep fighting.
That time is when a lot of conventions started charging. Because you used to be able to go to conventions, and I'm talking 15 years ago, you still had the artist alley where you could just sit down for free and sketch. It was just open to the public, and you could go in, and show some books or show some work, and little by little they figure out that people were going out there trying to take some of the space that they could be making money on. And the last time I looked, I think it was $1,500 a table that they wanted for you to swing, to be an artist alley or to be at a table. And man, if you're a little guy, $1,500 is a lot of money. So that means you're starting that convention in the hole. And the last time I went to San Diego, this is a long time. This is when Tomb Raider had just come out, the one with Angelina Jolie. And I remember that we were just beginning to pick up. We sold a few books, and then they closed the hall for like 2.5 hours, so she could go by and look at books. And we were towards the back, and she just went by like the first 2 rows and looked at some books. I didn't see her buy anything, but we lost. I was mad. I was like, dude, I paid to be here, and you close the customers out so this woman can come here and take a look at this, and she's not even interested. She kind of looked around, browsed, and walked out, and we lost 2 hours. I think Jack Black was there that year. He actually bought some books from somebody. But in the meantime, I was like, I'm not coming back.
I'm not real interested in shows. I mean, I did a few of them, but I mean, I got banned from my local show recently. I was sticking up for Peter Cimetti, who was getting hammered by Ren and her fucking simps, and so we were in this great big long thread, and Canales got brought up, and then he somehow caught wind of it, not through me, but he ended up jumping in on the thread too. They were calling him out, saying that he was a bigot, and they were calling him like a transphobe, and they were calling Peter a liar and all this stuff. I said, no way. I was like, Ren came in and started confronting me directly, and I was like, fuck you. I was like, I saw the police report. I was like, you were the one that was sending him emails for a year, like leading up to him getting swatted. And this was like around the time when like JDA was like trying to call him out and say that it was like right after that. Right after he called him out, and he hadn't got the actual police report yet. Like there was all this shit going on. When this great big long thread, but then what happened was Avalone ended up jumping in the thread, and I don't know if you know who he is, but he works with Kevin Eastman, and they're drawing blood with a guy who's a home state guy, artist. I met him at a few shows. I had dinner with him with Ben, and so Ben Bishop, and so those guys anyway ended up. Avalone jumped in the thread and was sticking up for Ren. And I told him, I tagged Eastman, and I said, dude, I was like, this guy fell off your coattails and found his way onto our thread. Can you come pick him up? Right? So I tagged him in a tweet. Yeah, so they got pretty pissed off about that, and then they just kept going, and Ben jumped in, and I told him to fuck off. I was like, well, no wonder the bottom fell out of the sketch deck fucking market. I was like, fuck you, man. You know, coming over, he was doing fucking stupid shit, and they're all... So anyway... he went back and told the convention owner about the thread, about me just saying that. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, yeah. And so ended up getting me kicked. I got a big, long message from the convention owner telling me I better hope that I don't run into him. So that was it. And I was just like, fuck you. And I was already done. I don't care. I said, hey, I'm a lot different when I'm hosting artists at a show in real life. You know what I mean? I was like, fuck you. I was like, how'd it go? I made fun of him too, and I was like, fuck you. I said, well, what was it I said? I was like, yeah. Oh, no, he said, you belong in a pre-function room, and your studio laughs at you, and your wife laughs at you. I was like, that's not true. I was like, and how did it go with, what was it? How did it go with Maynard and Danny Carey? I was like, they wouldn't even be caught dead in a picture with you. They know you're fucking fake too. And he didn't even reply. Yeah, he drove that weekend. We had that show. Maynard was playing. Tool was playing at the waterfront across the road, and they came to the pre-function night or whatever it was. They had like a Friday night live, and they showed up because they were playing Saturday, and so they were there, and he drove them off trying to get picture ops and shit. Yeah,
wow.
So fuck them guys anyway. Yeah, see what I mean? It's just all a bunch of dumb shit.
I don't argue on Twitter. Nothing good ever comes out of it. I mean,
Twitter and fucking capitalist convention owners, fucking dicks. I got him good guests too. I supported him for 3 years straight. Whatever, fuck them guys. But hey, that's all right though, because I've got a way better campaign. I wanted to get you guys' opinion on it as well. Here, check it out. I made a. Here, I'll show you. What it was. Somebody called us all grifters at Comicsgate. And I noticed that nobody commented or even acknowledged it. And I was thinking, you know what? That's a throne that's wide open. So if nobody claims the throne as king of the grifters, then it's wide open. I can just take it uncontested. I don't even have any competition. No, it's perfect. No, it's absolutely perfect plan because there's absolutely no competition. I get it with no resistance. It doesn't cost me any money. Doesn't cost me any resources, and I get to be number one. So I like that plan.
Competition, yeah.
Yeah, there's absolutely no competition because no one will admit to it. You know what I mean? But I just want to get you guys' opinion on it anyway. Here, I made the video quite a while back. Let's see here. Now, the slogan needs a little bit of work, okay? I'm going to be honest with you, but let's see what we got here. Yeah, here we go. Now, see, I think that's perfect because it has all the important elements for a great campaign. Tell people to stop thinking completely for themselves, because if they can think for themselves, then there's a chance that they won't spend their money. So it's much better if they just don't think, just open their wallets directly.
That's a good slogan, right?
Yeah.
When I'm out there sketching live and somebody says anything, hey, turn off your brain, open your wallet.
Absolutely, it's such a catchy slogan. And hopefully it'll just, if we say it enough times, I think we might be able to subliminally and play in it. Is kind of the goal. It might take a little bit of time. But yeah, no, I think it's a solid campaign. For sure.
Yeah, maybe you could insert some frames, to get some more subliminal action going on there.
Yeah, it's too bad that we have to connect with them on the internet, that we can't plug directly into the brains like Johnny Mnemonic.
Yeah.
Like, if we could do that, then we could just program the thoughts into their head, and we wouldn't have to put so much effort in.
Yeah.
Be quick. You know what was funny is, like, I make that as a joke, but you go on Twitter, and I think right after the first debate, you got Biden who was saying, forget everything, forget social media, forget what you've heard, and chip in to help. It was like chip in to help us. I have to go back and find the tweet somewhere, but it was an ad for donations to his campaign. Unbelievable. It was literally turn off your brains and open your wallet. Like, shut off.
I don't have to answer any questions.
That's one of the biggest things that I think it's happened over the years. Because, before the internet came, if you wanted to find something out, you had to do some research. So only if you were interested, if somebody said, well, say, for example, 100 million people died because of this, and you thought about it, said, is this guy lying? You'd have to hit the library. You'd have to go find some newspaper. Because, the library, that was it. That was the only connection you had. And you didn't even know if your library was fake news or not. You just knew that's the only place you could go.
You had to go through a microfilm and microfiche.
Yeah, and you had to sit there and spend hours. As a matter of fact, you can see it in old movies when they have movies about reporters and stuff. Out there in the giant microfiche rooms out there.
The Dewey Decimal System.
Yeah, so politicians got away with basically murder. Because everything they said, you either believed it or you didn't, or you kept track of it. And, there was nowhere you could go, like a forum, and argue with people. So you believe what you believe. So you vote red, you vote blue. That's on you, basically.
Yeah, you don't argue in the letters pages.
Yeah, and then the internet came, and now everybody goes in there and argues. Nobody learns anything. Everybody's pissed off. And you wake up the next morning, you shut off your brain, you jump in there, and you do it again. And you get called names, and
the good old days when you had to do research.
Yeah, and now, well, we used to think that the problem with people was that there was not enough information. We blew that out of the water because now all the information's at your fingertips, and people are still having the same problems.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's true. The old days, you used to have to go to the library, right? You'd go to the town office and get the records, and go through all the old newspapers like you had to do.
So,
what do you mean? I still do.
You knock on doors. You have to do interviews.
That's
you have that hand tape recorder.
You have access to. I mean, before it was just local. You could find everything you needed locally, but if you want to find out something 2 towns down the road, you have to go to 2 towns down the road to figure all that stuff out. Now you can just get online, and if you know where to look, you look.
Yeah, you go to their town office and you find out who the suspects were, and then you follow the clues.
A lot of people are so set into their way. Like at the beginning, I used to do this, and I stopped doing it just because it was a waste of time. But I get in discussions with somebody, and you tell them something, and they're like, "That's not true." I say, "It's true. I'm telling you. Please provide links." You go, "We're not going to read that. Those links are no good." I said, "You just asked for links. Now you have to go look at the links of the people they follow." And then it just got to the point where you had to guess who they were reading for you to go find out. And it was just like, oh, this is just too much work, you know.
To read. It's too much work to read.
Yeah, it's too
to
much
push
work.
a button and read.
And then, and then at the end of the day, you do all that work and they don't want to read them, or then you got somebody who just starts trolling you, and you're like, oh, I fell for it. I
think that's my biggest drawback, is not so much that, because I love to read and learn things, and I learn quickly. My reading comprehension is flawless. I know. No, you guys are decent. You're solid. I know, and but I like to read. The thing is having time to read too. That's the other problem. You get some people who we have day jobs. We're busy. I don't have enough time to really read and become as good as I think I could be. Like, got to learn all the time. But the difference is that I don't act like I know it. Like, if I don't know something, I don't go on Twitter and like blast about stuff that I don't know anything about. If I don't know anything about something, I'll say I don't know. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't do that. They talk about shit, especially SJWs who fucking talk about shit they don't know anything about. They write about shit they don't know anything about, like heroism and things like that. So, you know, that's a classic example of it.
Yeah, the thing is, you go in there, somebody's going to blast you. So you got to know what you're talking about. And second of all, it's just, you're wasting all that time. But I'm always ready to quit. When I see something outlandish being said about somebody, no matter what it is, it's like, if it interests me enough, I'm going to go dig into it and find out what happened. Or I might remember something and I'll just go look into it. Like, I got on last night, I was watching the debate, and then Trump brought up the coyotes, and a lot of people, I did not notice. I mean, I grew up in Hispanic countries, and we always talked about the coyotes that cross you over to the United States. I lived in California. Everybody knows who a coyote is. And then I get online, and people are like, yeah, Trump's an idiot. He's talking about coyotes. And I'm like, what?
My God, really?
A coyote, an animal that just grabbed the babies and brought them up. Come on. And I looked, and a lot of people just didn't know. I was like, go figure.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, there's a lot of people on Earth.
This morning, I was like, are you serious? What went wrong here, people?
Hey, thanks for dropping by, Lou. I appreciate it, man. You've always been good shit, dude. I appreciate your support. Thank you. Thanks for coming by. Yeah, I want to show some more. Hey, Rick, you said you were drawing tonight too, huh?
Yeah, I might as well get a little busy.
Well, I'm going to show some.
I got back from work, and I was like,
I've got artwork here, Rick, like that I have been that you've done for us. This is one thing for CG Jumpstart. You did the cover image. We built a cover page around this. I don't want to spoil it because it has a bunch of stuff written, but here's the artwork for it for Grifter King, and we've got Black Dragon Vax from our current X's. Yeah, and the funny thing is that's Vax from our Curse story. We designed a Black Dragon 4 years ago for our story, and so there he is. It's weird how some things happen. I guess, you know what I mean? Maybe it's just a popular theme, but and then we've got these people in behind turned into a pillar of salt, and those skulls are beautiful, Rick. It's fantastic artwork, buddy. Yeah, you're a talented dude. I've got some more artwork here too.
Show the other sketch. Oh, by the way, I'm still trying to get my files back.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
No, you got the high res for that, right?
I went with a file recovery program.
Oh, for on your PC. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and right now it's running a scan, and it's probably going to go all night. But that is my last attempt at retrieving those files. I had
Here are your pages, Rick. Here, and for people who are watching, and for Hex as well. These pages were drawn and inked by Rick for our studio.
Oh, that looks awesome. It looks like reminds me of Slain. What do you call it? Sloan.
Rick was retired. Jesse talked him out of it, and I'm glad he did. Look, this is fantastic.
Wow. Holy
this
shit,
right
man.
here, I like this right here. This is probably, I love this scene right here where he's taking off his jacket here and the dragon's coming around again. And he's standing here. I love this panel right here too. He did a fantastic job.
Oh, sweet, man.
Yeah,
no
that turned
idea.
out great. Yeah, no, Rick's great. And I'm glad that he came out of retirement. And these pages are going to be great for Vault. This is a 16th century knight who hey, thanks, Lou. I appreciate it. This is Vault is a 16th century knight who gets cursed, and so the story is basically the story of betrayal and the destruction of a Templar knight who won't give up his oath. And so it's going to be a cool story. We got a 4-page intro that we're doing that's exclusive for CG Jumpstart. So this isn't even the story. Jesse Hansen, the owner of Cornerstone Creative Studios, created this character, okay? And he has a design now. This story is going to be exclusive for CG Jumpstart. He gave it to me because I told him the guys were relaunching this magazine and that there had been a hiccup in the launch of it. And I said, I got a great story for this. And he went ahead and greenlit and told Rick and I we could go crazy with this. So we've got a new design that we're working on. And we've got a brand new story intro for it that's going to be only for you guys for CG Jumpstart. So it's going to be something special. Something that's going to play to Rick's strengths. He's a fantastic artist. So it's hard for me to shut up. But I cut back my dialogue exponentially on purpose to showcase Rick's artwork so that you guys are going to get beautiful scenes. There's going to be a female vampire in it. I don't want to spoil too much of it, but there's going to be a knight. There's going to be a circle of knights. There's going to be a king, and there's going to be monsters, lots of monsters. Vault is a monster. He's a member of this group of Templars who are monster hunters in this fantasy world. They fight the things that nobody sees, the legends that people talk about, but they never experience because of these Knights Templar. So it's going to be a very cool story. It's a dark story. It's going to be fun, though.
Oh, sounds interesting, eh?
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
All right. When are you planning on launching soon? Or?
Well, the cool thing is that I don't have to have the responsibility of it, so that's up to Gat and Roe. But I talked with Gat, and so they've got a plan to launch it. It's going to be strategic, and so you follow them, and you'll be able to get updates on it. He's updated already recently and talked about the relaunch. So, but there's still some of it that's up in the air. Takes some planning, and we've got a lot of things going on at the end of the year, including like the Christmas holiday. We've got the election here, and they've got Bullet Maker that they're launching. So they're fulfilling Vestige 2. So there's a schedule there that has to happen, and it needs to be planned accordingly. So, you know what I mean? Which makes sense. Anybody would do that. I mean, they've got obligations now with this title that's out, and he's already spoiled some art for Bullet Maker, so that's gonna be coming out. But I promise you guys, whatever he does is gonna be fucking capital. So. Yep.
Right on.
Yeah, I don't get to make that decision. I'm just a contributor who's fucking stoked about it. But yeah,
nice.
Yeah, I love it too. Yeah, it's going to be good stuff. Yeah, I want to contribute. A bunch of people backed out on it, so. Yeah. Oh, you got some artwork to show here. Yeah, let's change the subject and go into this because I saw you just shared screen. Let's see this.
Yeah, I forgot. I did some Vestige fan art a while back, and I started coloring it, started flatting. And but I had to stop.
Fuck yeah,
I had to start working on my own shit now. But I'll get back. Yeah, I want to get back to this, and I have a plan to do like a collage of CG properties. So I started doing fan art for every book that the rule was every book that I got, I would do fan art. But then it started coming in fast and furious. So now it's like whenever.
Now you're behind.
Yeah, whenever I'll just like. Yeah, I'll do whatever I feel like doing at the time. So, yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that turned out great. I like the colors on that too. Now you did that front to back, right? So that's pencils, inks, and colors, or do you do everything in Photoshop?
That was traditional pencils and inks, and then I scanned it in, cleaned it up, and yeah, I do Photoshop color.
Fantastic, and that's the industry standard. 98% of professional coloring is digital coloring now, so you're right on target. Everybody's doing that. There's no other way to really do it effectively unless you're hand painting it. It's not really time effective if you're doing books or trying to produce projects. You know what I mean? That's something that's very time consuming. So there's no way you could. Yeah, there's no way you could do that.
But for mine, for Nephilim Squadron, I'm doing all traditional but digital colors. But like in the future, I'm thinking of collaboration with other CG people, and whatever I do there, I'll just do digitally for the sake of speed. But for this, my passion project, I have to do it traditionally because it's been like. Believe it or not, I've been working on this for 30 years on and off, and this is like version 2.5.
And this is the way you want to do it ultimately. I mean, I talk about like industry standards as far as doing books, but as far as your own project, there's no rule, man. It's you're making your passion project, so it's going to be you. And I like it. I like it. I like the style of it, and and I dig it how there's so much art. There's so many different variant art pieces there with like the different sketch cards and the other perks. It's cool, man. There's a lot of characters here, and I can tell you put some thought into that. The designs and everything. It takes time to make all those designs and to make something unique. It looks cool, man.
Thanks. And I don't know if you've seen like I have another page with some of the characters from the comic. And so this is just like a temporary landing spot until I launch, and then you'll see some more pages, interior pages.
Hey, that's solid, man. I like those.
Quick overview of the story.
Builds. Hey, all right, man. Look at this guy. This guy, that's all right, man. I like that.
Yeah, I'm trying.
No, those turned out great, Hex. I like that, man.
Right.
I like that artwork for sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
we're all working away.
Inspired by like a 80s anime and Howard Chaykin, Jodorowsky, stuff like that. I was really into heavy metal and more into independent comics when in the 80s.
How was that? What was your favorite?
I would say my all-time favorite title would be Grendel from Matt Wagner. It's just deep, dark stuff.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. No, I tend to like the dark stuff more. Even when I was a preteen, I liked the dark stuff a lot more. It's so much more fun.
I know. I feel like there's something wrong with me.
No, I like to be scared. Well, I grew up here in Maine, and a lot of people there was a lot of Stephen King books around, and I read a lot of novels when I was a kid. My parents were huge into the movies as they were coming out and things, and then my parents let me watch anything I want when I was a kid, so I love scary movies. And I remember being a kid and going through the VHSs, and we'd always go to pick out movies, and my parents would be picking out a movie for the family, and I'd go straight to the horror aisle, and I would just look at all the covers and read all of them and look at all of them, and I was so amazed at the images that they put on the covers and how scary they were. Loved it. I couldn't take my eyes off of it. I loved it.
Like Alien. When I saw Alien in a video store, just that image of that egg. You've never seen an egg like that before, and just the the font, the iconography, the lighting on that video box. When you're a kid, it's just so.
For me back then, it was like Fright Night was one that was always had horrific covers, or like the Friday the 13th covers were good. They always had these hand painted covers, like with. And so they were very cool. I like those, and all the classics came out then, like Friday the 13th, and then there's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre stuff. It started a little bit before me, but they had some stuff that come out in the 80s, and just slasher films and gore, and So I've always had my foot in the horror genre, and like I remember they had a graphic novel they wouldn't do it now, but in our library in our school. When I was in middle school, and they had Creep Show. And I'd seen the movies and stuff, but had the old classic Creep Show that was drawn by Bernie Wrightson. And Stephen King wrote that. Bernie Wrightson. And Stephen King wrote that, and I read that as well. And so I always loved that graphic novel. I read it every time we went in. And so I like stuff that... I like the dark stuff.
And I never really considered myself a horror fan, but I've seen and experienced a lot of like Grindhouse movies when I was a young kid, and my sisters were older, and they would take me to see these movies with their dates, and at the time I had, I didn't know what I was watching until like when Tarantino was bringing back what was it, the I guess it started with Kill Bill when he like brought back the term when Grindhouse became trendy again, and he was talking about like all the types of movies that were Grindhouse, and then I was thinking, wait a minute, when I was a kid, I was watching this movies like the Gates of Hell, this Italian zombie movie. What was it? This movie with Clint Howard, where he's like sacrificing college co-eds and chopping their heads off, and oh god, what was the name of that?
It was just straight up brutal, just for the sake of being brutal.
8 years old watching this shit in the theater, and I was like, wait a minute, I was watching Grindhouse movies when I was a kid, and I had no idea. There's a name for it. I just thought of it as movies. So
South America Cannibal Holocaust came out.
Oh god,
real. Massacre came out. At the time I was like 9.
Yeah, those were almost some parts of those were almost. Some of those were kind of silly though. In some parts, like some of the characters, you know what I mean? Like as they made like the newer iterations of it, it was more. They made it more serious.
Dead, just like Greg said.
Yeah, they had.
Oh yeah. Oh, speaking of the dead, I'm going to be doing an 18-hour game stream on Sunday, streaming Call of Duty Black Ops Zombies, Call of Duty 1.
Oh,
because
no way.
It's the 10th anniversary of Call of Duty Black Ops, and I used to work at Treyarch, and I got really good at the zombies mode for a while.
I've got a question here, Greglton, that was asking you, HexAllen. I got a question here. He's asking, what's the link to the Indiegogo mobile app game? We were talking about that earlier, but you can go ahead and field this one, dude.
Oh, the game's not out yet. It's still in an alpha state. But think of it as like when you go to GamesCon or E3, if you're in the industry, they give out swag, for games that are not even out yet. But here, you're paying for this swag, and the game is free. But you'll be knowing that these are bespoke pieces of art, exclusive, never to be offered anywhere else, and so that's why I'm offering them in this campaign.
So to reiterate it, basically is he's doing an Indiegogo that has a bunch of swag that he's producing all the artwork for himself. It's going to have artwork from the game, and he's got trading cards, and he's got a comic that he's produced as well that's an ash can that can all be added in as perks, and then the money is going to support a creator, and when the game comes out next year, it's going to be free regardless. Mm-hmm. He's producing this game completely on his own, and he's going to release it as an app game for free that everybody can download.
It's not free to play, not free with microtransactions, no loot boxes, just free like Flappy Bird. Right.
Absolutely so.
And I guess the pipe dream here also would be that whatever revenue is generated, if possible, if it ever happens from this campaign, that would be used to for the coloring of Nephilim Squadron when I start that campaign next year. So
I wanted to mention the link for the mailing list is in the description of the YouTube. So I put his link for the mailing list, and you can sign up for this campaign. It's going to launch November 9th, and it's going to have all of the artwork that he's shown on the stream. You can preview the artwork there and see it. Sign up for the mailing list, and you'll have those perks available for you. Watch for the launch on November 9th, and then next year, it's an undetermined date, but he's thinking spring, maybe in the summer. When we were talking earlier, he mentioned that he's going to release the game, and that'll be free to play for everybody. So you can just go and download it and play it. And there's no, like you said, there's no microtransactions. There's no hook to this later. He's producing this game all on his own. Mm-hmm. And so anything from this Indiegogo is going to go to support him while he's creating it, but it's going to come out either way. He said he's going to be releasing this to everybody, but he's just got some cool stuff for everybody in the meantime. Very reasonable goal. He's not. He talked about it earlier. I think. What did you have? Is that public yet, or is that?
It's not public, but I'm thinking 800.
Yeah. So it could be give or take there, but it's a very reasonable goal, especially for Comicsgate, and where there's a comic. He's got an ash can for his comic series involved in it. He only wants $800. I mean. So I'm absolutely sure Comicsgate can get that for him. He just wants to get some of it out there and show people what he can do with his artwork, and it's all Photoshop painted, and he has a certain style that he's looking to follow for one of his mentors that he admires, and so it's a very honest project.
Yeah, I think it'll be reasonably priced. I'm trying to keep the cost low.
You got to do what you got to do, but yeah,
it won't be huge posters. I'm thinking like 8.5 by 11, or what is it, 21.6 centimeters by 26 centimeters for the Europeans. So since they're just cards and posters, small posters and bookmarks, I'm thinking there'd be a lower risk because I'm not worrying about stitching or pages lining up and color printing for a comic, since the ash can is going to be just 18 pages in black and white.
But that's cool though, because you get to show the art, and you're doing the coloring yourself for that. So you said, right?
Yeah, for now.
Yeah, no problem. No, I was just asking because they're getting the ash can, but when you do the comic, you're doing everything yourself. You're producing all of this. You're a one-man band.
Yeah.
So it's taken some time, and backing this guy will definitely make it easier. Get him a few bucks to work with while he's producing all of this work, and it is a lot of work. Lou is asking, will you ship international?
Yes, I plan to. I haven't really delved into the cost for shipping. I've been hearing a lot of troublesome things lately.
Yeah, because some places are pretty expensive to ship to, and I want to say there's some complications with the COVID too, where stuff gets held over, and for shipping, there's some extra handling, but
right now shipping is rough on any medium. We deal with UPS and FedEx, and it's been quite. It's very taxing to deal with them all the time.
Yeah,
stuff that would take maybe 2-3 days to arrive now takes a week.
Yeah, that might be the toughest part of this whole thing for me.
Yeah, in some cases when you overnight things, it still takes 2-3 days, like you would, sending it regularly. But, I mean, everybody's feeling the pinch.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Things will clear up next year.
Yeah, we hope so. If we don't see an end to it, though, while we're locked in our caves, let's just keep working. We may as well, while we're in our man caves, riding out the apocalypse.
Have it all ready so you can just put it all out in bulk next year.
Fucking waiting for everything to turn into Mad Max. We'll just sit here and keep making comic books until that day.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we won't have to drink sea monster titty milk to survive. Hopefully we won't have to do terrible things. We won't have to resort to cannibalism or anything like that. Anything that's horrific and socially unacceptable to talk about on YouTube. So, hey, can we
wait for the old gods to rise from the oceans and take us all out?
yeah, and that's coming. I'm sure it is. Because
what a way to go out, though.
Yeah, that would be absolutely the most epic way, I think. Even better than being killed by raiders or cannibals.
That's all you always hear about. Every 10 years, we're going to die, we're going to die. It's biblical, man. Read your Bible. We're going to die, we're going to die. You remember back in 2012 when they said the world was going to end because the Mayan calendar?
Yeah.
What if, 2,000 years ago, that guy was working on the calendar and his partner's like, dude, we got to go to lunch. And he's like, well, I'm only in 2012. And he goes, hey, who cares? That's 2,000 years from now. Like that. And, 2,000 years later, everybody's like, oh my God.
Yeah, that's the end of that's the prophecy. Yeah.
And he never had enough money to make a sequel or like a follow-up calendar. So it just died. The idea just died there.
Yeah, but you're talking about the Mayans, so it wasn't like, let's go get some lunch. I mean, then it was probably like, hey, they're doing a human sacrifice in town. You want to go check it out real quick?
Yeah,
Like, yeah, I guess so. Well, I got some work to do. I'd be like, yeah, but they're sacrificing a virgin in the square. Come on, let's go. And they just go walk over. Yeah, like it was nothing to them. I mean, the sacrifices were like, I mean, that was like going on Twitter now. Like it was the same kind of. It was a public spectacle.
You're always working on those calendars, man. Calendars don't make money. So he has to go on a commission somewhere, build a pyramid or something. So he
maybe they got attacked by a jaguar.
Stops, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
8 years later, we're still in uncharted territory. There's no calendar to guide us.
Instead, it was savage as fuck back then. But instead of throwing spears, now people just throw tweets. So it's kind of like the same.
You know what?
It's a little less impactful. You know,
or maybe we were just interpreting it wrong, and the numbers were transposed. It wasn't 2012; it was 2021. So it's next year.
I mean, it's 2000. Yeah.
Yeah. Everything's gonna go shit.
Because we did skip the murder bees.
They could have.
We skipped those. Those were holding up January of next year. Boom.
Why'd you have to say that, Hex? You just mortified me. Now what am I supposed to do? Like, there's no way I can't go to sleep tonight and not at least have a minimal plan for surviving.
Predicting it here.
No, seriously, I can't go to sleep tonight without having at least the bare minimum plan to survive whatever the end means. And I don't even know what the end means. Like, you fucked me up, man.
For me,
here, let's look at this.
They're the worst.
See, I'm even predicting it here. Remember when the end was coming for us all on December 21st, 2012? Well, I'm here to tell you that the projections and predictions of the Mayan long count calendar were misanalyzed. The numbers were transposed. The date to be on the lookout for is December 12th, 2021. Because that's when my comic is going to be dropping.
Boom. That's great. No, that's awesome. No, absolutely. Please prophesize our doom. That's fine. Go ahead.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, we're gonna take a quick intermission. I'm gonna play my trailer for Hayward Saints 8, and then we're gonna go into the Word Nerd is Right segment after. So the music's gonna play one shot. Probably got a couple minutes. You guys can watch some media, and then we'll all come back, and then what I want to talk about is Dragonlance. I want to talk about Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman a little bit, and then in our cause, looking for is something that Comicsgate can do to help our culture. They contributed to comics, but also novels as well. These old pioneers created a lot of literature and gaming resources for all of us. It's important that we support them because I've personally talked with some guys in the industry that I know, and there's evidence that these corporations are looking to push those pioneers away because they tend to become the canon when they're creating, which mean the canon meaning that fans tend to hold them responsible for this great content rather than the corporation. And that's dangerous because these creators can branch away, take fans with them, and crowdfund on their own and make money for themselves. And the company wants those sales coming to them directly, and I think they're just shying away from publishing with those guys, and eventually we won't have those. Absolutely true. We won't have those classics. We're going to have only the content that we have now are people that are willing to totally go belly up and give their work away and try to work on a career, and they want all the profits. It's capitalism. We've celebrated it as Comicsgaters because we're crowdfunding, and being a capitalist as a crowdfunder is very honest if it's done correctly because you're just getting money for a book. So, cool. Hey, good to see you guys. Thank you so much for coming by, fellas. The thing is, at that corporate level, it's very different because it's not just a book for a sale. They've got a lot of properties, and there's a lot of people on payroll, and their teams are bigger, and so they're. It looks like, sadly, a lot of these old pioneers and legends they want them pushed out, they want them forgotten, so that they can rebuild entertainment in the corporate image, something that they own 100%. Start going from there. So yeah, so let's go ahead and watch this content here, and then we'll jump into it. You guys might have to mute up.
No.
So how you guys sound? It's good. Probably got like 3 minutes. If you need to take a bathroom break or something, or whatever, personal.
No, I was gonna say we got 9 people watching. Can we get 3 more likes?
Thanks, Rick. I appreciate that, man.
We got 6, and we got
smack
upset people already.
Absolutely. While you guys are chilling out watching this this media content, go ahead and smash the fuck out of the like button. We would definitely appreciate it.
Apprehended 8 people today following the investigation of an event anomaly.
Responsible party has been held at the FO.
1 second. I gotta do something. Here we go. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. There we go. There it is.
FOR agents apprehended 8 people today following the investigation of an event anomaly.
Responsible party has been held at the FOR U.S. compound for questioning.
Inside sources say they claim to be divine appointed heroes sent by angels to prevent the apocalypse that they witness 500 years from now.
500 years from now, in the year 2525. Hope they throw away the key on this group from Crazy Town.
Ultra Ghost reporting for duty.
Name's Dix. I'm AI. What's your malfunction, chump?
This is Ultra Ghost. I need some muscle down here.
I will not fail you, Master Gigaru.
We're back. Ready for round 2.
Fantastic. Okay, and so
Yeah.
the media that we had there, the video was done by my good friend Dan Stairs. He's actually a childhood friend of mine, and he's a professional video editor. He works for commercials for Fox News here local. For the local news, he shoots local commercials, and he's their lead video editor. And so we went over to the station, and we were able to put that together from artwork, and we did the voices. My wife helped; she did the female voices. And so we put that together, and then the beats for the remix for The Price is Right is actually done by Hannibal the Beat Animal. He does a show with Monty from our studio. Hold on a second. Just a second.
Yeah, he did a good job on it.
Yeah. Was this the first time we're hearing this? Is this that?
Oh, that's a recurring thing. That's the opener for my for Word Nerd is a right segment, which we're going to be going into because I tend to be right all the time. I'm not trying to. It just happens. And so I definitely want to talk about a cause that that my brothers and I have been working towards is helping. It's Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman have been canceled by Wizards of the Coast. But I suspect, after getting some information from a friend of mine, that that it's actually the parent company, Hasbro. They bought Wizards of the Coast, and they're interested in merchandising the cards, merchandising the content, and doing online content, but also physical merchandise. But novels, literature, and those kind of things are not things that they're interested in. They have been doing them, but what I was told, and the guy who refers to him as Bob, who's done the recent Drizzt trilogy that just came out, and the new one that's been commissioned. Those are outsourced by a third party. So what happens is if you're a best-selling author and you can sell enough, then you can get a third party to the Dragonlance growing up. Yeah, absolutely. We all love the Dungeons & Dragons TSR novels. They were a beautiful supplement to the game. You didn't have to have a group to experience the novels and the characters, so that was a beautiful escape. It's escapism for you in between gaming sessions, or when you're alone and you want to experience fantasy and have that escapism. We're able to have that. It's quality escapism, especially from these creators. The book being canceled, I'm almost absolutely sure that it's more or less about capital. Third party commission, they license the rights to that Hasbro owns through Wizards of the Coast, through acquiring Wizards of the Coast. And so if you're a best-selling author, you can have a third-party publisher license it, and then they hire the person to do it. So I'm absolutely sure that that's how this worked with them. The guy who did my opener, the voice, was done by Ed Greenwood, who created Forgotten Realms for TSR. I had him on my show recently, and then he read my book series, all 4 issues of Hayward Saints 8, and he wrote me a beautiful letter. It was very emotional for me because he was my childhood hero growing up, playing Dungeons & Dragons. I loved his content, and Forgotten Realms world was very special to me. We all have one that's special to us. Now, I love Ravenloft as well because, like I said, we were talking before, like I like the dark stuff, but Forgotten Realms just seemed to have all of it. I mean, it had the Underdark, so it had a dark aspect to it. That's how we got the Drizzt novels. They were inspired by the Underdark that was in the Forgotten Realms by this crowd that created it. But yeah, I talked with Ed, and Ed said that he wasn't interested in doing mainstream for this reason, because it is very complicated to get a third-party publisher to license the material, and then you write it, and then it's going over, and the company licensing it has to make a certain amount has to be guaranteed for the publisher to be able to get the licensing rights. And so a lot of the content, if you want to get content from Ed Greenwood, he's doing a lot of stuff through the DMs Guild. So he has source books that he's releasing, and he's still writing. He told me he's going to do some content for them, but he's going to make it free. He's not going to get into an agreement with them. He's going to write something that's a small sample story. It's not going to be a full-length novel. But Ed does write very fast. That's kind of the secret to his success, is that he's very quick. He just has a knack for putting words together and storytelling. He's able to do it a lot faster than most of us can, including me. And so he's going to write something up, he said, in the future, and he's going to give it away free so that the fans can have it. But there's no shortage of content from Ed Greenwood. He hasn't slowed down. He still does a lot of independent novels and source books and material. He has a bunch of novels actually that are written now. That's a part of a package that he wants to release at a later date. That's his own IP, his own publishing line. And so if you guys want to get work from him, he is still active and working. But for right now, we want to focus on what's going on now. It's going to be very hard to get at Hasbro, but it's going to take awareness. Fans need to step up. Fans still do have the power, and we've learned that in Comicsgate. That our fan bases give us a certain amount of power, give us that power to stay away from that model, because that model is destroying creativity. I think our model, as far as going to crowdfund, is much more honest, and being able, as long as you're able to keep that level of quality, is very important as well. Do passionate work and be serious about being a professional. And if you need help producing content, hire an editor, get somebody who has experience, talk and learn and do it, and do things for yourself. But as far as nostalgia goes, if we want this to continue, we have to create an awareness first, and then we have to show that we love this content, that we want it. If we don't speak up for these creators when it's gone, then we have to take what we get. And so far that hasn't been going very well. There's been a steady decline in not only comics, but film, as well as gaming. We've seen a decline in gaming.
Even streaming shows.
Yeah, like mine. Like mine. I keep checking on Buffy. The little guy's having a hard time. I'm just gonna give her a shout real quick.
Is Buffy the kid or the dog?
No, it's neither. No, it's neither. It's the wife. I'm gonna go give her a hand real quick.
Okay.
I'm gonna go give her a hand real quick, and I'll be right back. We've got a 1-year-old, so we've got a bunch. I've got 3 kids, so I've got 2 older. So I'm gonna go give her a hand real quick. I'll be probably 3 minutes, and I'll be right back. Okay.
All right.
Have you guys experienced? You guys have you played role-playing games?
I haven't in several years, but yeah, I have.
We could even talk about nostalgia, even if when you were a kid. That would be good if you guys want to talk about it for a second, and I'll just be right back.
Talk about that's fine. No, it's been. I think I was a teenager last time I got to play a game.
Same here.
Yeah, I just never got back into it. Once, a lot of it's habit. The guys I hung out with played them, so I played them. And once I left those guys and went on to do my thing, never went back to it.
Yeah.
When my kids were little, it's like video games. I used to play video games when I was younger. My kids, they got old enough to play, and I thought, man, I'll get to play with them. But, the funny thing happened is once the PlayStation came along, they all wanted their own account. Dad couldn't touch the game because, by then I was, it'd been so long, I'd get on there and I'd just get shot. So they were like, no, Dad, don't touch it. And over the years, I buy the games. I gave my money towards the games, but I never really got to play them.
Yeah.
After a while, it's just like, hey, I put somebody's kids through college with all the games I bought, but they, my kids, they wouldn't let me on. I remember getting on there and they'd be like, don't touch anything. I was just a placeholder,
Yeah.
In the same token, I told them, I said, I learned playing Atari. I could do magic with one button. You guys got 8, 9 buttons.
Yeah, I started back then too, and I really never stopped with video games.
Yeah, but then again, my time is so limited. If I start playing video games, then that'll probably be the end of that.
All the wasted time. Oh my God! I would have made my comic much earlier. Yeah. But then again, I think the quality wouldn't have been as good. Now I think I'm a much better artist and writer now than I was 20 years ago.
well, the thing is, you got to release it, and this is something that I learned. When it comes to my personal projects, I never finish them because by the time I get to a certain, say I get 10 pages down, the artwork looks better. Then I look at the artwork at the beginning and it's like, So now I want to redraw the beginning, and it becomes an endless loop. I want to redraw this. That.
Yeah, that's why I said mine. My book is in like version 2.5. This is the final version.
Yeah. So you just gotta put that dayline, put that date. Okay, so this day it comes out, ready or not, let's do it. And or else it'll never leave. Before you know, you're talking about 3.0, 3.5. You're a lot like me. It's like when I draw something. If it wasn't because I have to turn it in, I'd work it to death.
Yeah,
because there's always, even sometimes as I'm handing it in, I'm looking at it and going, man, I could have done that hand a little bit to the left. I've done this a little bit to the left. It's
when you're doing production for someone else, though, it's a different thing. I don't know. I'm always looking at the finish line, and
and you got to do that for your own project or else.
Yeah, that's the problem. I just like, it'll be there. I'm still living. And then I get older and I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm getting older. Time is running out.
How old are you now?
I'm 48.
You're 48.
I'll be 49 in January.
So if I don't put out that personal project in the next 10 years, it's not happening.
I know. It was like, at first it was like, all right, I'm gonna self-publish this thing by the time I'm 25. 25 years later. But yeah, as far as RPGs go, I just stick with the single player video game, computer games. Like right now, I was playing Kingdom Come Deliverance for a while. That's really good. Good stuff. No hand holding. It's like a real RPG. All right.
Yeah, I made it back. Yeah, absolutely. I had to cut out for a second. Well, yeah, he's transitioning right now to cow's milk from formula, and so we've been doing that. And that's been an adjustment. So just doing that and raising up the family.
If you don't like cow's milk,
well, he went from titty to formula. I would think that would probably be the hardest jump.
It's hard. You get that good titty milk, and then you switch to formula, and it's like, being gypped. But he doesn't have the hand coordination to make his own, and so he's like, damn it.
Yeah,
What is this poison?
What is this? Yeah. Where's the previous? Yeah, I like the previous delivery system.
Yeah,
but that's a great transition though, because then I get him back. So right? So
he's nice and docile.
But at least as they get older, you can hear him cry. Like my grandson was born a couple of weeks ago. He still sounds like a little baby lynx. He can't do much. He gets frustrated.
Lynx. There's a description.
Yeah. I went in there. I'm used to hearing his other two brothers cry, and they already cry like children. So you hear that cry, like, something happened.
Like human beings.
They don't. Yeah. So all of a sudden I hear coming out of the room. Like, good God, what did you give birth to? I go look in there, and he's just like, all of a sudden,
his head is spinning around.
Yeah.
Hey, I put this link in the chat. You guys can follow WC Dragonlance. This is War Campaign Black Dragonlance, and this is the mission that we want to share. You can share any information if you find any articles, any videos, any information on the progression of the lawsuit between Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman and Wizards of the Coast, aka the parent company as well, Hasbro. They're going to have a lot of money going into this lawsuit, I'm sure. So it's going to be quite a battle for them, but I absolutely, as in all cases, the fans are ultimately going to have the final say. If enough people come to their aid and want these books to come out and are interested in these books, that's going to be the decider on them dropping it and going ahead and not canceling the series. It's basically a corporate decision on money, cost of production versus and profits. I'm absolutely sure of it. As far as canceling, and from what I understand, they don't have any interest in literature whatsoever. Once they were acquired by Hasbro, it's just this big company that does toys and merchandise, and they're what's sad is that the market is going that way. For us people who like to read, it's getting swallowed up by a digital world, by video games and things have cut into. Yeah, the newer generation. That's right. They're looking to go
3D deal. The newer generation, they grew up watching TV, so for them, books, flat books are not really that interesting. So toys are picking up, models. I'm seeing a lot more models, more detailed toys. That seems to be the thing. Kids love them. My grandkids, man, I got them some dragons. and one of my grandsons is into dragons and dinosaurs, and he doesn't just like the cheap stuff. I can't just stop at the dollar store, pick him up a little dragon. He'll look at me like I'm crazy.
Yeah.
You know, he likes.
Did you get this from the swap meet?
Yeah, anything below $30 for him is kind of. You get that look like, don't forget, I'm the one who's gonna pay for your retirement home. So so I've noticed that a lot of him and his friends, they all have the good toys. So because for them, it's more of a 3D deal.
It's like that Walking Dead game thing is where it pops up so and so will remember you said this.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I remember that cheap toy you got me that day. What's wrong with you, Grandpa? It's not like me. I used to tell my wife, I said, all they need is a ball, a bat, and some little wood blocks.
And a pile of dirt.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Even I needed more than that. I remember when I was 8 years old, I piled firewood for $10 a day to buy Ninja Turtles. Like Slash and firewood. I'd stack cordwood at 8 years old because I wanted Ninja Turtles so bad. And I got $10 a day. That's what I get. My dad started me out. I thought it was a great deal. I was like, 2 Ninja Turtles for a day of work? No way. I was so happy to get 2 more turtles for my collection, and so that nostalgia. And then when I got into a preteen was when I got into the books, the Dungeons and Dragons. I actually was in Boy Scouts when I got into it. There was a crowd. There was 3 kids that were played Dungeons and Dragons, and they got me into it. Drove my dad nuts because he was happy to have me doing outdoorsy stuff, and we'd be on these campouts, and we always brought our backpacks full of Dungeons and Dragons books, and we'd have the lantern, and we'd be out on a picnic table or whatever we had for set up a tent, you know what I mean, and we'd be playing Dungeons and Dragons at night instead of by the campfire. It drove my dad nuts. But he went a lot. The thing is he was old school, but he was also progressive in his own way, like the correct progressive, not today's crazy progressive, like the type of progressive where he understood that the times were different for us and our generation, and he accepted that I like video games and that I liked things that he didn't understand, Dungeons and Dragons and things like that. So he still encouraged it, even though he didn't agree with it. But hey, I got a guest that's coming in right now. Hold on a second. You might know this guy, Rick. Hold on a second. Okay. Hey, Jesse, what's going on, dude?
Man, who's this Jesse guy? What's up?
How's it going, man?
Hey.
You're muted.
He's muted.
You're muted. You're muted. You're muted. You see?
Yeah, I know. I got 9 puppies here, so I'm keeping it muted.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. All right, cool, man. Yeah, he's probably inking. I told him he could come in tonight and ink. He's got a book that he's working on, so Boss Man came in for a little bit. I appreciate you coming by, Jesse. We're just talking about the War Campaign fellas are spearheading a Black Dragonlance, and they've got a site on Twitter. It's called Black Dragonlance, where you can send any information you have on the lawsuit with Tracy Hickman and Weiss and their lawsuit with Wizards of the Coast. Their Dragonlance novels got canceled, and essentially, to me, and to those guys as well, to all of us, it feels like a piece of our culture is getting slashed. This is the moment where corporations are looking to transition into corporate-owned IPs and slash those things to them that they deem are unprofitable. And these novels are important to our culture, and having new content from these creators is important as well. So we want to try to raise awareness and try to help them out best we can, with the biggest voice we can, which is just try to spread it and hopefully get it to Comicsgate, to anybody that cares about these old creators. These are things that we need to preserve as part of our culture. I feel going forward, we can't let those things die. We can't just take what we get, because that's what'll happen. The corporate we'll get whatever they give us, whatever's profitable, they deem as profitable. And so we need to be vocal. Fans need to be vocal and speak up for these people, or else for people that we like, for creators that we enjoy. it's the same it's the same idea behind Comicsgate, that we support people that we enjoy, or artwork that we like, or creators that we like. It's the same thing. And I think as far as mainstream goes, those guys, even though this is hey Edwin, what's up? Thanks for coming by, man. Yeah,
Hey.
even though they're doing hey, thanks for coming by, man. I appreciate it. Even though it's a mainstream release, these creators are important to the history of not only novels, but those old TSR books that we remember, quality books. Everybody I've talked to, they enjoyed the series that was created from this gaming IP. And so if we don't do something, then we're going to lose it. Those are going to be cut away. And a lot of the creators have already turned away. You know, I haven't named the creators specifically, but a lot of guys, like with Comicsgate, go independent. They end up going independent, and these creators need to be supported. There may come a time where this is the point where these creators are being canceled, and they need a place where they can turn, and there's not going to be a lot of options for them. They may even need help with the awareness and to crowdfund their own books and work on their own careers. So working for themselves, you know what I mean? Because they're coming into retirement. When you're working for those mainstream companies, there's no retirement plan. You know what I mean? When they're on their own, these people can go, just like the creators of Superman, go into poverty, spend the end of their life in impoverished conditions, without enough money for necessities even. You know, that would be sad to see these people that gave so many people joy to go broke, go completely broke, just because they're old school. You know what I mean? They may even need help to see what this new model is with crowdfunding, to spearhead campaigns and those kind of things. So there could be a lot of work involved with this, but there also could be some rewarding work. It's rewarding work. So, you know, if we could find a way to help them, this is the first step, is try to help them not get this this commission for them, this licensing deal. Not having this canceled is definitely a way to help them so that they get paid. They're able to do what they do best, which is create beautiful fantasy settings and stories for us to experience. And then, and you know, we can continue doing the same on our end. And yeah, that's the plan. Yep. There's more people that I want to talk to. Ed, I talked briefly. We just talked about general. We didn't talk about anything in specific. We just talked about the market from the inside, because he knows it very well. He not only did he work for TSR, but he also wrote for Marvel and DC. People were mentioning the Dragonlance comics. Ed's written, edited comics for Marvel and DC as well. They took a lot of those TSR writers. They were very popular and brought them in, had them do comic books as well. So they're well versed in that medium too. There's a couple other guys I want to talk with. I got the advantage of working at a gaming company that did tabletop RPG content, and so there were some of these guys that were there, and I had a little bit of contact with a few of them. Ed wasn't one of them. That was after the fact, after the COVID, and they stopped shipping. I reached out to him, and like I mentioned before, he did the voice lines for my opener. That was Ed Greenwood that did those voice lines. So he's been very cool to me. He's cool to all of his fans. Like he's been great. I actually talked with him. He releases adventure content when fans ask him questions, like the old TSR stuff. Let's say they played an adventure and there's an NPC or there's a question about something that happened and they don't know how the story played out or what happened to this NPC that they loved. He'll write them an adventure and send it to them for their group. He'll just whip something up and send them a PDF of it so that they can play it on their game nights and finish the story that they. Oh my god! You know, if they think of like NPCs are a part of the story that didn't get the part that they didn't follow in the released adventure, he'll write them up something that'll inspire him, and he'll write them up something to go play to finish it. Yeah, absolutely. These are people who are about the fans. This is essentially the spirit of Comicsgate before Comicsgate even existed. These were creators who loved the people they were creating for. So we don't want to lose that. We definitely don't want to lose it. But I'm going to talk with James Ward, is one that I had actually a lot of contact with when I was at the company. He wrote adventures. He was commissioned to write adventures for the company but also he was editing, and he licensed them Metamorphosis Alpha, which is a property that he wrote years ago that he owned. He wrote Deities and Demigods for TSR, the source book, and he wrote a lot of TSR novels. James Ward, and I have his home phone number. We've talked quite a few times, and I have a property that's over there that has been halted since COVID shipping and everything, but they're going to start production hopefully when all this stuff clears up. I wrote a comic book, and I wrote an adventure, a 10,000 word adventure based on it called Infinite Omens. And I talked with James because I wanted him to come in on it and help us write some adventure content. So I've been talking with him, and I talked with him on the phone a few times. I'd like to give him a buzz and just see if he has any industry insight or anything that we might want to know going into all this, anything that we can use to help these guys, because these are old creators as well. They published around the same time, so they have a lot of knowledge, and they've seen this industry from the inside. They've seen it evolve into what it is now, and they know a lot of the people that are involved. So it's good to get some information so that we can best as we can help these guys. Maybe some of them still have contact with them. We can get some advice on how to help them directly from the source, from Hickman and Weiss themselves, if somebody can get a line on them. I want to talk with Tim Kask as well, because he wrote over at World of Game Design. He was the creator of Dragon Magazine. He designed the first Dragon Magazine and was the editor-in-chief on it when that released. Yeah, absolutely. He still he actually has a YouTube channel. It's called Curmudgeon in the Cellar. He still does. I want to say he's like somewhere around 100 episodes, but he just gives role-playing insight. You guys can follow him on YouTube. It's called Curmudgeon in the Cellar. That's Tim Kask, who created Dragon Magazine. So he's still going, making content and doing games. So these guys love it. All of these old pioneers love it. They weren't doing it for any other reason than the fact that they just love doing it. And so, yeah, we definitely, it's something that we can appreciate, because we're all doing the same thing. We're passionate, independent creators. We're doing what we love and passion. It's just us and Comicsgate, or our fans, or our clients, whoever we're working for. People are still doing commission jobs. All of these things, we're doing this out of passion. Like, we love working. It's a beautiful thing. Just that direct, either you and the client, or you and the customer, or you, just a direct line. Book for money, work for money. It's a beautiful relationship. When you get into all of that corporate model the way it is today, it's complicated. Complicates it, and I think it takes away from creativity. Personally, it's getting worse.
Definitely, because whatever you do, if it becomes successful, then you have 50 people who weren't there before who just want to run the caboose.
Oh yeah, and everything becomes just so just derivative of each other. Like, for instance, I was in the gaming industry for the last 3 years of being in the gaming industry. I was in the mobile gaming industry, and it's all about that live service, and we had so many meetings with just overarching corporate garbage going on.
Yeah, well, they stick their claws into it. That's why, and there's all these suits that are calling the shots. People who are not creative types, who think they know. They think there's a formula.
Oh, there is a formula.
But it's not the formula. They think they're looking at sales numbers. They're looking at this number formula, but you can take that number formula and you can choke the creativity rate out of somebody with it. You know what I mean? It's about, you got to have a passionate creator, and you got to respect that first and then work with it. You know what I mean? You can't force that. You can't force that circle project into a square hole. You know what I mean? It just doesn't work. Greglton said, I just wanted to highlight this real quick, as Greglton said, pretty sure he's 100 years old, talking about Tim Kask. He's been around a long time, absolutely. But he started streaming. He's got a tech that helps him out with his videos, and he posts them. They're not live, but they're recorded videos, but he does them, and he talks insight about role playing. He talks about his personal preferences and his experiences, and it's very cool. And he's a good dude, so he's fun. So Yeah. But
definitely dealt with corporate all the time. It's like they don't think, they just make a decision and deal with the fallout. That's their formula, just make the decision and then deal with the fallout.
Lately, it seems like they've been doing it. It seems like there's no rhyme or reason to it, but I can tell you right now the reason why they're making this decision and doing that is because they've put themselves in that position. What they've done is they've created a situation that very few people can be creative in. And if you are willing to go into that for the smaller cut and create for them and give them the IP, it's usually people who don't have the talent or the ability to do the work for themselves. And so that's, all those brilliant creators who have a circle of support around them who can help with some of these things with marketing and some of these other things, or they have an established mainstream career, those people can go off and work on their own. So why are they going to work for a wage and then give their work away to this company when they can do quality work on their own? That's the idea behind Comicsgate, behind all independent. And so the corporate model isn't conducive to that. They want people who will come in and give the IP away. They don't want to develop other people's IP because they don't own it. They don't want to do a deal for that. They want something they own 100%. And then that forces all independent creators to have to go on their own merit. If they don't have an established career already, it's going to be a struggle. Even if the artwork good, it's saturated. So there's a lot of factors that are going on in the market. Ultimately, corporate is trying to control all of it, but at the same time, they're hurting the quality because they're not getting quality creators because they're greedy with the cut. See what I mean? No.
What's the segment called again?
What's that?
What's the segment called again?
The second one? What's that?
What's the segment of the show? What's it called again?
Oh, it's called The Word Nerd is Right.
Exactly.
That's how I roll, man. Yeah, that's how I roll. I got the word right straight from the horse's mouth. So
I just happen to agree with you.
It was my suspicion already. I'd said it before this lawsuit even came. Just in general about the corporate model, it's been my theory about what's been crumbling mainstream entertainment, and that's what it is. I think the ability for people to create their own with print on demand. With technology, you're able to make an app game on your own, a one-man team. Before, you would have had to be able to commission hundreds of creators. 20 years ago, hundreds of creators to try to make a game. Whereas now, the technology has caught up to a point where one man, if he's willing to put in enough work,
in the Unreal Engine.
Yeah,
Unity,
absolutely, you can do it. So
Game Maker.
So if you're passionate and you're a smart guy and you can figure out this software and you can do it yourself, then you're able to do that on your own. And so smart, savvy, creative people are able to go off and do those things. Now, if you can't, you go and work for these companies. Let's say you are able to do that and come up with a great story. Then there's another dynamic where there's careers involved. So you've got this production team, these editors that are working with you, and they want to put their stamp on this work. They've got an idea of what's going to be good. They take your work, they send you back, they slash story, they send it back. These are people who may have got their position not because of talent, but because they failed upwards. And Comicsgate has talked about this in countless streams. They get into this position, and then they want to put their stamp on the career. So they or they want to put the stamp on this work. They want to build this career, and they're micromanaging this work, and they kill creativity at that stage. You know what I mean? There's a lot of creators who've gone and worked for corporate companies. They have their story slashed all to hell, and then afterwards, everybody wonders what's wrong. They blame the writer, and he's like, "Well, they didn't do the story that I wanted," or the director's like, "They didn't do the cut that I wanted. They were doing this, making all these decisions."
Creative control is
king. You also got to be careful on what you sign, because you go to work for these companies and you come up with a hit, they might come after you where they're like, "Well, it was created under employment."
Mm-hmm.
And you might lose something big.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't actually. Well, I see something kind of happen in the comics industry, but I've seen it happen in other industries where somebody created something and then it just falls under something else. Next thing you know, they're tied up.
It's just
so it becomes one of those things where, like, yeah, you have a great idea, but if we can't have it, neither can you. and we got enough money and lawyers to keep you tied up forever. You know.
Yeah, that was the modus operandi when I was and I guess in any video game company that I've worked for. Is if you create anything under their roof, like a drawing, it potentially belongs to them, which is why I did all my drawing in the parking lot.
Yeah. Everything that you do is given to them. Look at Stan Lee's entire career. Everything that he built, he's credited as the greatest creator of all time, and he didn't own any of the work. Marvel owned all of it. He didn't own a single piece of that IP, any of that IP.
Yeah, his money didn't come into later on. Yeah.
But look at the power he had because he'd won the fans over. Marvel had to pay him $1 million a year for the rest of his year. There was a while back when fans were being very vocal on social media, and they were outraged because Stan wasn't making. Marvel was making millions off this IP that he created, and all he got was a weekly wage. You know what I mean? All he got was with no retirement. So that's another thing too that affects the market, because these corporations know that creators who are popular and like these people have a lot of power, and so they're savvy to it, and that's why they're always cycling artists out. They don't want anybody to come in. They want to own all the IP, but they also don't want anybody to get their own traction, because what can happen is they can leave and take their fan base with them, and they could sell books on their own and make more money than they ever could. What do we have here? He must have got money for his acting career. Oh, I was talking, but yeah, you know what I mean. Like they don't want that. They learn from that example. Now, I mean, it's just speculation, but if you think about it, a Stan Lee is not really an ideal situation for them, because the fans love him more than they love that cold corporate model. So they don't want those kind of things, and I suspect this might be the same thing. They don't want these Dragonlance creators. They don't want these old pioneers, winning their fan bases over and then creating independent stuff and people buying it. Does that make sense?
Oh,
you know what I mean? They want. I mean, if people buy from Dragonlance, they want to buy the corporate Dragonlance. They want what's owned 100%, what's produced by them and created by them. They don't want fans to go and spend their money on a crowdfund. You know what I mean? That's the last thing they want.
It wouldn't hurt them to give some of that money to these guys. These guys created a big bulk of what they're trying to buy. I still remember what happened with the creators of Superman. In the end, they really didn't see that much money, and it was I think it was Siegel had already died, and it was Schuster who got actually pensioned by a movie company. And so DC Comics never really did much, and every time that the property comes back, after a certain amount of time, they got to go to court, or who is it that DC has to either make a movie or something in order to maintain the rights. They keep bringing it up. I don't see it being a problem here because DC's got all these movies planned, but I remember in the past it was just savage the way they did those guys.
Ooh, Jesse shared screen. He's just doing some inking work while we're shooting the shit. So,
all right.
He's been catching up on some. He's got some book commissions that he was doing. He's got a bunch of ink pages. So I told him to come by tonight. He's been inking, getting some work done, getting it done.
Excellent.
You still using Manga Studio like me? I've been thinking about upgrading to Clip Studio Paint. I got some brushes that Manga Studio will not take. The old version will not take some of the newer brushes. So therefore, a little bit.
I have the Clip Studio. I just still prefer using Manga.
Is it any better? Is it?
Clip Studio has a lot more options, but I have all my custom brushes, my pen inks and stuff like that already set up in Manga. So converting them over is just a pain in the butt, so I don't bother with it.
Yeah.
At least for now.
And it's getting it done. He's getting it done. Your ink is solid.
That's all you need.
Jesse just converted to digital recently. He's been traditional his whole career.
I'm old school.
Wow. That looks really good.
Oh. Yeah, plus it's not a good idea to learn when you have all these commissions. I mean, Jesse Jesse has full CCS book teams on 5 successfully funded. He's 5 for 5 on crowdfund with full CCS book teams for creators commission through our studio. So he's got all this inking work that's set up. It's probably not a good time to switch to clip art and try to learn a new program while you got like all this inking work planned ahead. So while they're going through the fulfillment for all these books, so I agree with you on that. Just use the custom brushes you have now and get to work, and then and do it up. Yeah, and then worry about that other stuff later. Yeah, he switched digital so he could take on more of a workload, but Jesse can definitely, he's done a ton of traditional inking work, work for Marvel as a professional inker. So he's done a ton of books. He's been published in hundreds of comic books that he's inked himself. He's published in Crack magazine as well. And he was a member on the team. Him and Chris Leslie as well were members on a team that did Bubba the Redneck Werewolf. It got a silver screen movie deal with Mitch Hyman was the creator of it. I think they did a couple sequels too. Yep. So
excellent.
And see, I love working with these guys because I'm a mediocre sketch artist at best. But then when I work with people like Rick and Jesse, they can take my work and actually make me into an artist when they go to inks because they got experience. So
we keep them in the dark because if we teach them perspective, it's over. We won't have him anymore. He'll be able to branch out on his own.
You will give me all of your secrets. You will give me all of your secrets.
I got a link I got to give you of art books and stuff that I got. Sit down for you to read whenever you get a chance. I got PDFs. I just don't look at PDFs that much. I still like it.
Yeah, figures. You know that? I go live showing about me working, and my pen stops working.
Well, it did. You mean it totally shit the bed? It's not working at all.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I think it's just having a communication issue or something. I don't know.
Nuh-uh.
I'm going to turn the screen share off for a second.
Okay.
To see if maybe
hit it. It's an electronic. If you hit it, it'll work.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Just like old TVs, you hit it on the side.
Yeah.
Get a bigger hammer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Try powering down, power back on.
Yeah, turn it off and back on. Did that work? Great. Now we got HexAllen in here's tech support. That was pretty good, man. No, that was right on. Technical difficulties again. God damn it. It happens all the time. Never fails. Yeah.
It's always on the live feeds too.
Yeah, right when it's the most fun. Right when it's the most fun.
Tell me about it.
Lou's asking if it's your net, but no, he's talking about his pen for his draw pad. So it's not his net. That's direct. Like his pen stopped working. It's not making contact with his tablet. With his draw tablet.
Have you charged it?
Yeah, but actually I have it plugged in.
Yeah, so it's charged. It's plugged, so it's.
I think I got to break my wire.
7 still.
I think I just have a break in my wire somewhere.
Yeah, it could be because a pen that. Well, if you'd slow down a little bit, that pen doesn't stop.
Yeah.
Pen doesn't stop. You know, wear out a pen.
I've had to replace the tip a couple times.
Yeah.
How long do you usually wait before you change the nib? Or like, I can't really tell when I'm using mine, like when I need to.
It's hard to say because I've had some that still look like they're brand new, just stopped working. I switch it out, and all of a sudden it works again. I wish it's supposed to be once it's worn down, so it doesn't have a smooth tip. But then I've seen other people actually sand the front of it, so I don't get that.
So they get that feel like it's broken in. You mean?
Yeah, but
because a brand new tip is kind of.
It's still new to me. This.
Just show the tip.
Digital tipping.
People get the wrong idea. What if someone's just listening in? They're gonna think we're into some weird shit over here.
Oh, look,
is that your dog?
So Jesse Hansen and Rick Benier are showing their tip live on my stream.
No, I'm showing the whole thing.
Now we've got 3 people participating. We got a threesome of tips showing on my stream.
Where'd you guys get the white tips?
It's supposed to be pink.
Guys, don't go there. Don't go there.
Okay, it's
so we're
late,
talking
right?
about white and black tips
It's
on
Friday night.
We've got a mix. So you're saying we got a mix of black and white tips being shown live on my stream.
Tip talk.
You guys are animals. You're terrible influence on me.
It was only a matter of time.
I'm a few hours past my bedtime.
Yeah, especially it's
I gotta
morning.
Are you in California, Rick?
No, I'm in Georgia.
Oh, I'm in
He
LA.
started day though. Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I still got time to party.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's hard to get the
probably
scheduling sometimes
Where are you
because
at?
of that
You're in
time.
California?
LA?
Yep.
Oh, you're in LA?
Yeah.
Oh, it's daytime still over there, yeah.
I'm in the snake pit, the viper's pit.
Yeah. How is that anyway?
I don't know.
No wonder you stay inside all the time.
That's my motto. Never leave the house.
It actually looks like Mad Max out there.
You don't have to. They'll bring everything to you.
Yeah, thank God I work from home now after the end of the world in March, and I got furloughed for like 3 months and then brought back on to work from home, which is ideal because I don't have to deal with that commute.
You think it'll become permanent?
I'm not. I think they're talking about bringing us back sometime next year, but they don't need me there. I'm doing fine.
I wish they would leave me home.
Doing fine right here.
Yeah.
No,
Absolutely.
but-
It looks like you are, man. Yeah, it looks like you are. You don't need that mess out there. You need socializing and
Yeah, I mean, I got you guys.
that's right. You got us, man.
You design your little robot like Sheldon. You put a T-shirt on him and send him to work with your face with a big TV. I'd love you to do that.
And it's way better because then if we do crazy shit, then you can just turn off your computer. You don't have to deal with them in a real life set. Like if we get out of hand, you can just always hit the button and we're gone. So that's a nice advantage to have.
That'd be a problem when you get back to work. People start talking. You start looking around. What are you doing? So I'm looking for your mute button.
Well, then we come to the point of when I can't stand myself.
Yeah, it's hard to mute that. Trust me.
Yeah.
Believe you me.
In here.
Yeah, believe
Turn
you
it off.
fucking me. Alcohol helps.
We've been trying to mute Ryan for years.
Alcohol helps. It shuts me down temporarily.
Yeah.
It sucks. Sometimes I'm sleepy and I go lay down and brain turns on. What are you doing? You were going to sleep. No. So
That's good stuff, boys.
yeah.
Yep.
I try
So,
to sleep in total darkness because if there's anything that will distract me, I will be distracted. 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm hating myself because I haven't gotten to bed yet. I started leaving the phone in the next room because
I used to do that. Yeah.
yeah,
Hey,
and you lie to yourself. You're like, okay, just a little peek. I see, just a little peek. Nothing.
Deep doubts, Jesse.
Monsters.
I don't know.
You want
Should
to
I
take a look?
put that helmet on him? I was thinking about using that helmet earlier, but I'm thinking
I like it.
Go with a smaller helmet because I don't want his face to be seen yet.
Right. Yeah, no, that's good because you're going to get, it's just temporary. The story is, you guys have already read. So that's good. You want it to be something that's Templar, that's very, I don't know how to explain it. It was in the script, the way I described it to you, you nailed it because you want it to be something that's essentially generic. That's something that's every night.
You also need to make sure it's recognizable.
It's recognizable as an every night, as a Templar night. Very traditional Templar night. That's what you want.
I gotta put the cross on his chest. I did a little reading. They all had the same outfit in order to be recognized in battle. They all had the white with the red cross on it.
Yeah, the tunic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be good. Yeah, that's what you want for the beginning, and then that's only at the very beginning, and then it's going to then he's going to evolve through the story. and it was fun to pull that out. I think it's harder as a writer to write a 4-page story that has a beginning to end than it is to write a full-length comic for me, because a full-length comic, you've got a lot of space to develop and make a story come together. Yeah, hell yeah. Hail, Lou. Thank you for supporting, man. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
I don't know. Maybe I should make them a little smaller in the first panel.
Thank you all for coming.
A little farther out.
Yeah, a little more perspective.
Yeah.
Like you're approaching.
I don't want my panels to be the same.
Well, originally the first panel, I know you added in, that was the point of the first panel, was to give you a little bit more space and have them coming straight on at the reader. And I know that you felt like you wanted the story to develop there, because,
because if I'm gonna throw,
but you don't have to.
Panel in,
trust me, it'll work. Trust.
I don't know.
Just trust me, it'll work. You don't have to show that progression there with that, because the focus of this is the narrative. For the first 2 panels there, the focus is the narrative.
I think the narrative will carry it. I'll get rid of the werewolf in the first panel and just make him a little smaller, so it looks like he's running through the forest with the sledge out.
There you go. Yeah, absolutely. Just follow the script on that one, because I'd say follow.
Like he's got his arm all the way back here, like he's about to strike in that first panel, and then follow through in the next panel.
Yeah, because the effect on that one for the first panel was to be him riding forward and talking his narrative, and then the second panel is the action. It's a surprise reveal that it's not so much of a surprise anymore, but it's supposed to shock you into it. Whereas if you have a progression, then they see it coming.
I'll lower the sledge. So on the first panel, he's riding with the sledge maybe hanging down.
No, right up. You had it good, but more of like a ready position. I've actually got a quick sketch that I did here. Let me pull it up.
Yeah, send me your sketch. See what you got.
I can put it right up in the window here.
He could have it back further, like he's getting ready to play.
Maybe it'll show. Let me see.
No, I can't.
Your noses are kind of short.
What was that, Jesse?
Hold on, get the angle right. It's kind of hard to get it in there where you can see it without the light.
You got it all the way up at the top. Let me see if
I just had him straight on. This was one of the sketches that I did there, but it's hard to see it because it's pretty light. I'd have to scan it into you because it's just a light sketch.
Yeah, go ahead.
Tim? Yeah, I have to scan it in. I don't have my scanner set up right now. I got an old scanner. I need a new one if we could. If I ever get going,
just
get a few extra bucks.
And text it to me.
Oh, hey, that's not bad. That's a great idea.
Hey, Rick, can you scan it? Can you zoom in on panel 1 on the werewolf real quick?
On the werewolf?
Either panel, zoom in on the werewolf.
On the werewolf?
Yeah. I can go to panel 2 so I can see this snout better. Go to panel 2. There you go.
Yeah.
If I can get that light.
All right. Do me a favor, because that was always a pet peeve of mine back when I was working on Bubba.
Okay.
So, I'm a little werewolf expianado. Extend the snout out just a little bit, because one critique we kept getting when we had certain artists draw him was that he looks like a cat or something stupid like that.
Okay.
So go ahead and extend that snout out a little bit. Give him a little bit of a snout on his nose. And that'll always eliminate that question. And then on panel 1, my suggestion would be go ahead and bring the swinging arm, swing it back, because to have a full motion of up straight and then swinging, he's not going to have any power behind his hit, at least not visually. So if you bring that swinging arm back a little bit more, like behind him, like where the weapon's actually behind him, and then that way, by the time panel 2 comes around, you see the impact, you'll automatically assume that he had a full cock before he came in with the swing.
That's true. Yeah, I like how that's gonna look though. That's gonna be cool. Also, the momentum of the horse too. He's got a 2-handed weapon. And he's wielding it one hand, and he's just coming by, just clipping the jaw.
That's gonna be That's gonna be just a ginormous hit. Especially, I don't know if you ever swung a sledgehammer before, but one hand.
Yes, I have.
Yeah, that's.
Don't ask.
It's going to be beast. Yeah, I've thrown Sledge around quite a bit.
I actually worked years ago. I worked with a guy, Mr. Blue. I never forgot that man. He worked for the railroad, and we used to do hydraulics on garbage trucks. And that man could knock a pin off the hinges of a truck one-handed with that sledgehammer, perfectly accurate. That man would come in whenever we had built these contraptions, so we would have the pin because nobody wants to hold that pin, while somebody's swinging a sledgehammer. If he misses, it's all over.
Yeah, your hand's gone, exactly.
Yeah, Mr. Blue, you could hold that pin and that joker would not miss. He almost knocked me off a truck one time. We were doing a cylinder on a top door, and he hit that thing so hard, I went on the air. I thought I was gonna fall off the truck. One-handed, he just picked it up and boop.
That's awesome.
He did railroad spikes. That was his thing back in the day. It was like, good God. I can't even. I still swing two-handed, and I don't hit that as hard as him. And he would make that ping. You know that ping you get in railroad when you watch those guys work. You ever watch those guys set up, and they go pop pop pop, and you get that ping, and they nailed it, and they move on to the next. He'd get that every time.
It's called hitting it square.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But all right, I'll make the changes. I can do that.
Cool, man. Yeah, that's the point of this anyway. That's why you got this layout stage. And we got time. That's why it's nice to have time to talk about it. I talked with Gat. He said that they've got a plan, but it's given us a little bit more time, which is great because we can go in with this and play with it a little bit and get everybody something real special. Go in detail. We're not rushed in any way, so we can do this layout stage and take our time. We don't have to just pound it out. So.
And my pin is fixed. Yeah.
Yeah, we've already got a bunch of pages in that they like that we're in. So these are just bonus pages because we have more time. We already hit 2 deadlines with the 2 submissions that we did. We had a 3-page and then we had a 5-page submission. We hit the second deadline and then they wanted to launch. I talked to them and then we got Bullet Maker coming out. He spoiled some artwork for that. So yeah, so it's a progression. It's a plan. We just got more time to work on this. There's a lot of things that are complicating it right now as far as like timing. I feel is correct. I mean, with the election and everything and like Christmas coming up, launching a project is it's not
conventional wisdom.
yeah, but I mean with the amount that you need and that you want for something like this too as well. Like And there's also another dynamic to it that's we might be able to do something really cool with it as why too. So yeah, so we're planning. We're planning. We're going to see. We got a little bit more time, though, so we're going to make these extra special for everybody, especially because I feel that this book needs to come out like straight and straighten everybody's face who didn't want it to come out. That's the way I look at it because cancel culture. Fuck that shit. I don't like it. I'm against it. I've been on the receiving end of it. I've seen people on the receiving end of it, and I'm not for it. So,
it's not.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was personal for me too, as well, because I wasn't cool with it, and I talked with someone recently who was one of the guys that backed out of it, and I just. Yeah, I mean, that's not how I work, and that's not how our guys work. If you commission a job or you're in on a job, you do the job and you finish it. You know what I mean? Regardless of whatever's going on, if there's people being dramatic or there's some kind of social, that has nothing to do with being a professional, and I'm not for that. So I want to see the book come out anyway, and it's also going to be the first Comicsgate magazine. So, yeah, and it was designed to support independent creators. We're not talking about like a cheap cash grab here. We're talking about a book that was dedicated to Comicsgate creators. It was getting canceled. It wasn't. It's the dumbest thing that I've ever seen. It was like when I saw the news release when Antifa destroyed the Lincoln Monument in Portland. It's the dumbest shit ever. Like it absolutely doesn't make sense to be a comic movement and to cancel a book that's dedicated to independent creators. Like it was a selfless thing, and it was just done for spite. So I say fuck that.
Jealousy, because when somebody does good, you'd figure they'd be happy to see that the medium's still alive. The people are branching out and doing their own thing.
Yeah, it was a beautiful thing. The book was all done, dude. It wasn't even like a project that needed to be crowdfunded. They were showing the finished proof in their hands when everybody backed out. So this was also going to be a launch where there was no wait time. So you were going to be able to back the project, and the book was going to be ready to ship right away. And so we're still going to have that as well. That's also going to be an aspect for this. We just want to make it as special as possible, give you some very cool artwork. I've spoiled some stuff, but I was very careful not to give away all of it. There's a ton of beautiful artwork in these pages that our studio turned in. Our guys are very talented. These are beautiful pages. It was a lot of fun to write these pages, and this is great. These are great guys to collaborate with too. They're decent people. So, and I get to look at cool artwork like this all day long, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Cornerstone's been very cool to me too. You guys have been great to me. I wouldn't be doing anything that I'm doing if it wasn't for you guys. Jesse especially spent a ton of time with me. I don't know if he's ever going to get it back, or if I think he wants it back instantly. He probably feels regret, but
how long has Cornerstone been around?
Jesus, he's been doing this for what, 20 years, Jesse? Working as a professional inker?
Well, the question is about Cornerstone, not me.
Oh.
I'm as ancient as the hills, but let's see, Cornerstone. Let's see. Wow.
I've been in for 5 years.
We were actually Cadre Corner Studios back in the day, and that's what I was originally. It's just me, and then it became Cadre Corner Studios when a few people joined me. And that's back when I met Rick, was years and years ago, as a matter of fact. And that was what, 90? No, that was about 2001, 2001.
Yeah, it was late night. Yeah, early 2000s.
Wow. Yeah. We actually, I got working in the industry in 2002, and I had my little studio trying to get in the industry before that. So yeah, about 2000. And then I worked for about 2 years under the table, behind the scenes, doing like ghost inking and stuff like that for people. That's when I got my Marvel work and my DC work, and then most of it was ghost work, which actually paid better anyway. But I don't get to call my credits. And then Awesome Genasi got me my break in a book called The Rift, and doing background inks. And then from there, I got the job with Bubba the Redneck Werewolf, and that pretty much was the beginning of it. And that was in, I don't actually, I can tell you, I happen to have gotten a couple copies of Bubba in the other day.
I got a copy of it too. I think I got issue.
Yeah, that was back in 2002. And then I got issue number 7, which I just got a bunch of copies in the mail. That was their first color issue. And that was officially Cadre Corner Studios' debut as a full creative team studio. We did everything on there, pencils, letters.
Hey, I got a copy. I got a copy of the first printing of it, I think, or at least they were the comp copies for the letterer.
There was only one printing of it. That's what's cool about it.
Yeah.
They go on eBay for like $25. I might be able to get like 50 cents for it.
Yeah, Jay lives near me. I bought him dinner. We went out and hung out, and he told me where I could get a copy over at the shop, and I went and bought one.
Who was that?
Jay. I took him out to dinner. We went out and had Chinese and shot the shit.
Valley?
Yep.
Yeah, he was the letterer on that book.
Yeah, he told me where I could get a copy, and I don't know if I imagine it's a first printing. He must have got comp copies or something, or he got them through Mitch because he had them stocked in the local store.
He played them early on. But so after that, we did issue of Cornerstone number 1. Cornerstone number 2 was in the printer. Then I took a hiatus for about 5 years, and then after that I came back. We started Cornerstone Creative Studios. So we're talking. Let's see, we've been here 13 years. About 17 years now. Cornerstone Creative Studios has been around, believe it or not.
Wow.
16 years, and then all we were doing was doing like freelance work for different publishers and stuff like that, just working. And then about 6 or 7 years ago, I think it was, one of my buddies, Monty Stickman, and I were talking, and he said, you know what, let's just create our own universe, because I just got burned doing a partnership with another person, and we created this whole universe and everything, and they kind of bought me out from underneath myself. And I was like, man, we created all these characters, and Ryan and Rick probably remember all this. And I was like, well, I was getting all disheartened, and Monty said, let's just do our own. Let's do it again. We built one universe, we can build another one. You know what? Let's do it. So then we started doing it and started bringing people in. And now we've got 12 titles in the works. So it's time to get the ball rolling,
Yeah,
So
it's time to make that push. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everybody's been doing commission work, and one of the success stories, I've mentioned it on stream before, but Kleber, remember when he came to the studio, talked with you and gave you a portfolio, and him and I worked together on the Meteor Marley pages, and he had no experience. And you were like, well, he has no experience, but what's that?
He had no confidence. That's the problem, because he had been rejected, and he'd been, told, you don't need to do this stuff. But
his line work was great.
It's good. He's very clean. I'd say if I had one negative critique about his work, and it's very, very slim, is that it's almost too tight.
Yeah.
But he is so consistent, and his line work is so clean. It more than makes up for any of that, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, he's great, and he draws women beautifully, and he's a very talented young man, but he had no experience, and we worked on those pages. I remember us looking at it, and we're like, yeah, no, his line work's great. This is going to look good on this title. And I remember him working with me, and he lives in Brazil. He's a Brazil native. We were doing the edits on some of those panels, okay, only because English isn't his first language, okay? So there were a couple things we had to change in the 4 pages we did, but we were editing them, and he had to keep messaging me and that he had to duck out because there were gunshots out in the alley outside of his apartment. He lives in a rough neighborhood over in Brazil, right? So he's ducking out of the window so he doesn't catch a stray bullet, and he'd come back like 20 minutes later and get back on. He was talking with me and drawing and fixing, sending back. I'm just like, holy shit, he's like 21 years old. And he's doing this, right? Passionate about wanting to be an artist. He got so many refusals, right? He told me that 2 publishing houses, he was like in the U.S. and internationally, he was trying to get in somewhere as a professional artist. And he said that 2 publishing houses told him to quit drawing, okay? Told him to quit. He'd never had a break at all. Jesse took him in, okay? Helped him make a new portfolio. Guided him on what type of samples to do based on his style. And within the year, he was working over at Cryptozoic Entertainment for official Rick and Morty sketch cards. He got a break there. And then Black Box picked him up, turned him into a cover artist, and he was doing interiors, and now he's over at Zenoscope working full-time, just as fast as he can draw. They're working the shit right out of him. Working all the time over there. He does commissions. The other day, he had a commission that sold for his top rate. I want to say he got like 200 for the inks and for the pencils and inks for it. It was a Wonder Woman piece, and he sold a Hawk Girl piece too. And so he's selling commission work on his own and making money, and also working full time. He had no experience or whatever, and he came to the studio, and Jesse just picked him out, just kind of sent him on his way. And so that was a beautiful story, and Jesse has done that even for me. I needed help, and he referred me to guys who had experience. When I started, I didn't have any experience. I didn't know what I was doing. I had a passion for writing, and he saw that and just gave me the pieces I needed to tell the stories I wanted to tell. He's very good at that. So that's what Cornerstone has been all of this time. I mean, we've created our own work together. We have preview material. But up until this point, it's been a commission studio and a talent agency, and he's offered mentorships on his own time, never asked for a dime, never asked for anything, just put his time in to help people. And so it's a beautiful thing. Now we want to push and do our own thing. We want to take this and convert into publisher. So this is the beginning of that push. We have a ton of preview material, and we want to start launching titles. So it's just a process. I need a little bit more art for mine, and he's getting pages together for Eagle. They're going to be launching Eagle soon, and so on Indiegogo, American Eagle, and so. Yep.
All right.
Yeah, so that's what it is, man.
Sweet.
Yep, absolutely. So, yeah, thanks guys for coming by. I know we're running a little bit late. We're probably going to wrap this up, but I want to talk about HexAllen's project one more time. If you want to share your screen, Hex, let's go ahead and take a look at the mailing list.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Oh, Jesse went down again.
Oh, he did. That's all right. He'll be back in. I'll Oh, whoops. Sorry, Rick. I was trying to get the share. Okay, here it is. Sorry about that, Rick. Sorry, brother. Yeah, Jesse did go down. He'll be back, though. It's just a connection. Okay, so here we have the Art of Shieldnet Sword, the mobile game. Okay, he's looking to release that next year. Okay, so this is the mailing list for it. I've got the link in the description of this live, and so you guys will be able to click on it there, and you can sign up for the mailing list. You'll be able to see all the perks. He's going to be launching November 9th. The mobile game is coming out next year, and he's going to fucking give it to you. Like, it's going to be straight free. There's no strings attached. There's no paywall. There's no microtransactions.
No loot boxes.
Absolutely. It's
no gotcha.
No gotcha. Straight up free. It's a passion project. He wants to put this game in your hands, and this is a pre-campaign where he can give you guys some swag so you can see some of the artwork that's going to go into the game. He's got an Ashcan comic book that's 18 pages that's going to be part of the perks as well. There's bookmarks, trading cards, lots of artwork from this guy, so that way you can get a preview of the artwork and get some cool things. And then next year you'll be able to purchase the app game for your phone for Android and Apple, or Android.
Both.
For both?
Fantastic. And maybe even Amazon Fire. I don't know. We'll see.
That's awesome. No, that's great. Multiple platforms.
Whatever I can get it on. Windows. Windows doesn't have phones anymore, but yeah.
No, that's sweet. It'll give people something to play while they're on the crapper, while they're waiting at the doctor's office or whatever. You know how we do mobile games.
Yeah. It's a simple rock paper scissors game done in you choose a character. It's a side-scrolling sort of thing, and as you're walking along, you move your character faster, and then your enemy has your selection of a shield, a net, a sword, and it moves really fast. And the faster you move your character, the slower the enemy cycle goes. So you'll be able to match up whichever weapon against. Like the sword will beat the net. Like scissors against paper, and so on.
With artwork, though, with fantasy-inspiring artwork to go along. So it's a game that's simple to play, that we all know, that has a fantasy theme, that's just going to have beautiful artwork from HexAllen. And so he's working diligently on that. And
I should hire you to pitch for me.
No, you don't have to hire me, man. Come back anytime. No, Hex, you've been great, dude. You're a good dude. No, you don't have to pay me. If you want to come back on the show, too, after you launch, we'll make sure we get you a slot in there, too, because you've been great. We'll support you when you launch, and we'll see some more of the campaign. Come back and hang out.
Yeah, I'd love to. Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah. No, it's been great having you on. No, you would definitely have you guys back on. So, I'll go ahead. We'll do the outro now. We're going to cut out. I appreciate all you guys for coming in to watch this evening. And come see. We'll have some more artwork. We're going to be streaming throughout the year. We're going to continue streaming. Rick's going to be coming back. He's working on these pages for CG Jumpstart, and so as we progress, we'll make sure that you guys get to see some of that art. We don't want to spoil too much of it, but we're going to try to pick and choose some spots so we can, so that we can let you see
more of that.
Well, that's the thing, man, is we're submitting, we're passionate about this work and we want to show it, but these pages are being submitted and they belong to War Campaign. So that for this project, we want to support CG Jumpstart coming out. And so we want you guys to buy the book. It's Comicsgate history, but in addition, it's going to have beautiful artwork in it, and you got to buy the book to see it. But we'll spoil enough so that we can get your juices flowing. Get that drool coming, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get the get the froth coming from that. We want to get your froth in. Get your frothy.
Get your rabies on.
Absolutely. We want to give you that reaction, make you feel like you've caught an incurable virus. That's the effect we always want. We always want that. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to play this outro. The intro was voiced by Ed Greenwood, as I mentioned. We're going to use this as the outro. It's the Inexorable Word Nerd Live. It was a track that was donated. It's KO, which was donated by Jesse Blaze, who's actually Jesse Snyder. It's D. Snyder's son from Twisted Sister.
Hey.
He's a musician himself. We had him on the show back when I started the channel, and he donated the track. He released a bunch of music for free for COVID that he had. Like he released like a bunch of albums just free on SoundCloud for everybody, so you had stuff to listen to. And I was going through music and asked if I could use it for an intro, and he gave me permission. So he's a good dude. So we're gonna go ahead and play that and cut out, and we'll catch you guys next time.
All right.
Thanks for coming, Hex. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We'll have you back after you launch. Okay, buddy?
Right on. Nice to meet you, Rick.
You too. You too. Hopefully we'll see you again.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming, Rick. I appreciate it, man. I always love having you in and showing your artwork off. And you're a good friend. Thank you, man.
All right.
Okay. All right, we're going to go ahead and play this, and then we'll cut out.
Come on.